Hello, Rim to Rim fans. This is Michelle from the Rim to Rim Club. I'm here with Rob Bolding from Red Mountain Outfitters, and we just wanted to take a little bit of time to give you some hiking tips for your shoes. Go ahead, Rob.
All right. Well, assuming you have the right fit, and that's a big part of this puzzle, the thing we weren't going to talk about today is lacing. And the first thing you want to do after you have your boot properly fit is make sure when you lace it, you don't have slack in the lace. So as you're putting the boot on, work your way all the way down and start tightening the boot as you go up. And this works on low and high top boots, so just make sure it's a good snug fit and there's no looseness in the lace here or slack. Okay, so we're going to talk about some heel retention lacing and some pressure relieving lacing. So the first thing we're going to do, and this is mainly for low tops, you can do it on a mid as well, but on this boot it might be a little weird, but we're going to take the marathon lacing that you would do on a running shoe, and running shoes often have an extra eyelet beyond that. So we're going to take this lace. Like I said, it works better on certain shoes than others, but this one's nice because you can actually see the laces, and loop it through. Okay, now that we've got these bunny ears here, we're going to take one lace, take the laces and loop them through like this, pull up, then straight out, and then tie your shoe. And what that should do is keep your heel locked down in the shoe so you won't get as much heel slip and keep you from sliding forward as far in the shoe. Okay, so really easy to do, works on trail runners, works better on low boots I find than the highs, but it can work. This boot has a little bit different eyelet, so it doesn't work quite as well on this one. Next tip we're going to do, our lacing technique, we're going to put a cinch knot in here, or a surgeon's knot. And the reason we're going to do this is you can snug a boot more, you can relieve pressure, so it has a lot of different uses. It can be put in many places on. You can do it twice, like you do one down here, one here if you really had a spot right here that was causing you a lot of pressure. So what you're going to do is take one lace and loop it or wind it around the other one. So you're not really twisting it, you're winding it around. And then you pull out, and then you would go straight up and tie your boot as normal. In the case of a mid-top like this, if you were having a lot of pressure right here, you could leave this upper part looser and keep this snug down here, because this won't come undone after it's laced like this. The only way to get it to relieve that tension is to actually get your finger underneath there and kind of break that tension.
So Rob, knowing that this is a descent of, if you're taking North Rim to South Rim, 14 miles, we've heard horror stories about people losing toenails, etc. Right. Why is that?
Well, oftentimes people buy the wrong size shoe. I mean, getting a proper fit is crucially important for any hiker. One of the things you want to have in your shoe is it's a good idea to be able to put your finger behind the back of your heel. That's just a general rule of thumb. The best thing to do is get fitted properly. But if you can put your finger behind there and you're not getting a lot of heel slip and you can hold your foot back and the shoe doesn't have too much volume, and we can talk about that in another segment, but then your foot should stay put and you shouldn't slide forward. But simple, mechanics when you're descending, that your ankle and foot can only bend so far. So if you're in a really high boot, sometimes that high point on the boot acts as a fulcrum and your foot gets shoved forward.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to look at the trail. Sometimes on a really steep stuff, it's almost better to have a lower shoe.
A lower shoe. Yeah, I actually hiked rim to rim in a trail shoe.
Yep.
And I found it to be perfect. I mean, the only issues that I had on blisters were at Ribbon Falls, I took my shoes off and put my feet in the water, which
Right.
was a mistake. But prior to that, I had no issues.
Well, and socks are also a key piece of that puzzle. If you have the right socks, you will blister less. Wool's a great material. Synthetics are great. Cotton is not what you want to wear when you're hiking.
Okay.
You want something that has good moisture management. Let's talk about one more technique here, and this is something, if somebody has a particularly high instep and they find when they lace their shoe it puts a lot of pressure, this is just simple skip lacing. And let's say the pressure point is right here. We're going to just undo the lacing. It's a simple, super easy thing to do. You're just going to avoid that spot. Sorry, these things are a little, there we go. So you can see we're just going straight up. And then crossing over as normal. You can see how that creates a void right here, so it relieves the pressure that would normally be on that spot where the lace would cross over. So again, a real simple technique, something you could do if you have too much pressure there, if it tends to put your foot to sleep right there. But really you want to have your shoe fit really snugly on this. We call this the big hand, or right over the vamp or the main part of your foot. This needs to be snug. That will hold your foot back and keep it in place. If it's too loose right through here, you have too much volume in the shoe, you will slide forward. Even if it's a long enough shoe, you'll tend to slide forward. You want the shoe to fit as snug as possible and be as controlled as possible when you're hiking. So
Okay. So 3 lacing tips, Rob. Any
Yep.
other tips for our rim to rim hikers, the 23.9 mile hikers?
there's a lot of good products out there, but hopefully you're not going to get a blister. But if you do, Moleskin, Second Skin is a nice thing for healing. They also make little pads that you can put on there that will create a friction-free barrier. There's another product out there called Engo, which we sell here, which actually goes in the shoe that reduces friction.
Okay.
So if you are having excessive heel slip or you are having issues with friction, and then putting something like that in the shoe can actually help reduce that.
Cool.